Hey, it's Erin. As the weather warms up, there is more talk of how to drop belly fat. And in today's video, I wanted to help you with that. Now, it's important to understand that you cannot spot reduce. So I can't take that magic wand and say, poof, six pack. It's about a reduction in overall body fat, and that is going to lead to a reduction in belly fat. Also, reducing things like your stress levels, prioritizing sleep, all of that is going to lead to a thinner, tighter waist. As the old saying goes, nature abhors a vacuum. And in common terms, this just means that we don't want to cut something out without replacing it with something else. So in today's video, we're going to talk about easy swaps that you can make starting today that will help you get on track to lose that belly fat. All right, without further ado, let's jump right in. Our first swap is going from steady state cardio to high intensity, low impact training. Now, why high intensity, low impact training? This is a form of HIIT, and this is where you are actually putting less stress on your joints. So instead of going to the track and doing some sprints, which not everybody can do, we're going to choose exercises like the rower, the assault bike, maybe your stair climber, running some hills, even aqua sprints. And by doing this, you're going to boost metabolism for up to 24 to 48 hours post exercise, and you're going to have a much quicker time doing it. HIIT, or high intensity low impact training, typically will take between 20 to 25 minutes to complete, all in. That's with your warm up and your recovery time and your cool down. Whereas with steady state cardio, the body becomes very adaptive to it. It's almost like training for a marathon. So if you do 10 minutes this week, next week you'll do 15 to get the same results, then 20, then 30, etc., etc. So having that slow, steady state cardio on the menu year round is not always beneficial. So consider adding that high intensity, low impact training once to twice per week. The next swap we're going to do is we're going to look at our isolation movements, and these are our single joint movements. So your exercises like your triceps kickbacks, your biceps curls, leg extensions, leg curls, these are all great icing on the cake exercises, but if you're looking for more calorie burn, more bang for the buck in the gym, we want to swap a lot of these out for compound movements. So for example, instead of doing your triceps kickbacks, you might do a push-up or a close grip push-up. This is going to involve more muscles. This is going to burn more calories over time, and ultimately it's going to get you fitter faster and help you drop that excess body fat. All right, number 3. Instead of doing a regular warm-up, this would be something like getting on a treadmill and walking it out, or easy jogging. Swap that out for some inefficient exercises. So of course you're going to make sure that you're pretty warm before you do this, but our inefficient exercises like our burpees, our kettlebell swings, even some sled pushes, these are going to burn an inordinate amount of calories. So you're going to burn a lot of calories doing this, and you're going to do it in less time. Plus it fires up your central nervous system and gets you really ready for lifting. You don't have to go crazy here. So you're looking at between 1 to 3 sets of kettlebell swings or burpees, for example, just enough to really get that heart rate up and to, again, burn those excess calories. All right, number 4. If you have a desk job like me, if you sit all day, make sure you set a timer to get some steps throughout the day. And this is relatively easy to do. So if you work in an office, take 5 to 10 minutes, get up, walk around, go outside. If there's a stairwell, for example, take the stairs for a few minutes. You just want to get more movement throughout the day. And this is kind of an encapsulation of the entire video when it comes to activity levels. You just want to get up and move more. And when you move more, you continue to move more and you actually burn more calories. So even if you have a desk job, you can move around more throughout the day. You're going to feel more alert and you're also going to be healthier for it. All right, number 5. When you think about having just a snack, so a lot of us will choose just an apple, for example, or just some regular yogurt, always add protein to it. Think protein. Protein is the building block of muscle. Protein improves satiety, so it's going to keep you feeling fuller longer. It's also going to prevent that blood sugar spike and subsequent drop 30 to 60 minutes after. So if you ever have that apple and 30 minutes later you are ravenous, this is why. So add some beef jerky, add a couple of eggs, have a shake, but make sure you're never having a snack that's just carbs alone. You want to have something that's more balanced, and you really want to think about protein at every single meal. Again, this is not just for gains, this is for that metabolic boost, for satiety, and it is going to help with losing body fat over time. Moving on to number 6. A lot of us are over caffeinated, and when we're tired, we're reaching for caffeine, especially later in the day, that 2 p.m. slump. So let's cut out some of this caffeine and really prioritize sleep. This is going to be really important because it will get you out of that cycle of not sleeping enough and then over caffeinating, then being wired but tired later on in the day and unable to sleep as it gets towards evening time. So if you curtail your caffeine usage, probably around 10 or 11 o'clock at the latest, and also understand that some of us are slow metabolizers of caffeine. So if you have that coffee first thing in the morning, it may still be in your system by evening time. So just something to think about, and swapping that out for better sleep, developing some sleep hygiene, that is going to be important. And this includes shutting off those electronics, switching from overhead lighting to desk lighting or lamps. This is going to go a long way towards helping to really solidify that circadian rhythm and get your reliance on caffeine down. And of course, with caffeine, that is going to spike cortisol levels, which can in turn lead to stress over time, which adds to the midsection body fat. So we're looking to reduce cortisol over time. And this is important to note that we do have high cortisol in the mornings. This is totally normal, but we're not really meant to have high cortisol throughout the day. And that's typically what caffeine is doing. Moving on to number 7, this is something that I've been guilty of. So instead of dealing with stress, a lot of us will numb out. And how often have you found that you're on Instagram or you're on Facebook Reels and you're just scrolling? And what this does over time is, of course, it's going to numb you over time, but the algorithm is set up in such a way that it's going to agitate you, it's going to upset you, you're going to see things that you don't want to see, and this is going to enrage you and essentially cause an addiction. So it is definitely a dopamine spike that we get. We want to numb out, we want to not have to deal with our issues, but guess what? The issues are still there. So we have to find better ways of dealing with these problems, with coping, and even though you're watching this video probably on a screen right now, taking some time away from screens, taking some time for yourself, and doing things like yoga, stretching, going for a walk, getting out in nature, that's a good swap. And you can start by documenting your screen time. And this is something I started doing because we don't realize our phone is right there. Instant gratification is right there. So we're often picking up our phones and we're not even thinking about it, going through social media. And not only does this lead to more stress overall, which of course can contribute to belly fat, but it also leads to the idea that we're comparing ourselves to others as well. So whether you know it or not, we're always assessing ourselves against other people. And when you're looking at social media, you are looking at someone's highlight reel and you're comparing it to your blooper reel. So just something to keep in mind with the toxicity of social media right now and the innate ability that we have to deal with things once we step away from electronics, and we have the ability to do that yoga, do guided meditation. If you're not good at meditation, I know I'm not. I will listen to something like a yoga nidra, and this is a great way to get back into your head, to get back into your body, and to start thinking about yourself and your feelings and process things and and doing it one day at a time, even 5 minutes at a time. Just take little steps and slowly try to pull yourself away from the social media trap. Last point, number 8, is actually a bonus. When you're looking at reducing belly fat, something to consider, especially as we get older, is something called insulin resistance. And this happens just, again, as we get older, we're less capable of processing carbs. So if you're not working out like a machine and you find that you have a little excess belly fat, consider keeping your calories the same, keeping that protein the same, about a gram per pound of body weight. And then you want to think about carbs on one side, fats on the other, and them operating on a sliding scale. So if you're at 2,000 calories, stay at 2,000 calories, drop those carbs just a little bit, bump those fats up just a little bit. Getting more healthy fats, that's going to help with kind of coping with this insulin resistance. Of course, when you're lifting, when you're doing your HIIT, you do become more like a fat burning machine. So the chance of insulin resistance goes down dramatically. So what I want you to think about is what we talked about in the beginning here. We want to focus on those big compound movements, our inefficient exercises, getting activity throughout the day, swapping out some steady state cardio for your HIIT or your high intensity, low impact training so you have a better time of recovering. We have to look at getting that protein at every meal, making sure we get enough sleep, understanding stress. If you can't change your situation, think about changing your perspective of that situation. We are more than equipped to deal with acute stress. So our acute stress is that short, intense workout. Stress levels rise, our cortisol levels rise, just for a little while, they go back down. Totally normal. It's the chronic stress. It is a family issue, it's a work issue, it's road rage, for example. These are things that if you have a stressful environment or an environment that you perceive as stressful, you're not going to sleep as well. You're going to have those wonky cortisol levels, and you may experience the belly fat, added to your body. So if we can really focus on these things, you're going to see great changes over time. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. What are some things that you've done to limit the amount of body fat or to reduce your amount of belly fat over time? I'd like to hear it. All right, if you made it this far, I love you. I am so proud of you. And I want you to know that change, especially lifestyle change, takes time. And when we think about making these changes, you never want to pull away something and not put something else in its place. So if you have a habit that you know is not healthy, you know it's not doing you good, swap it out for something healthier. Don't just pull it away. Don't just take away social media scrolling and not replace it with something else. For example, replace it with reading a book or replace it with something that might be just as exhilarating. I just recently picked up archery. I absolutely love it, and it keeps me away from the phone. So it's a win-win situation. All right, let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Until next time, train smart, train hard, eat well, get sleep, and just be kind to yourself. Love you. Bye.